Hey everybody, welcome to the strength and power classes. This as part of my online kettlebell strength and conditioning program. This is usually the first workout of the week. So this is the most common format you're gonna see. It's called the 5x5. And what I mean by that is there's 5 exercises that we're gonna work today. And we're gonna do 5 circuits, 5 rounds of those 5 exercises. The reps are usually set pretty low, 10 or less, depending on the lift. And I try to hit one exercise of each angle. So one pushing exercise, one pulling exercise, one hinge, one squat, and I like some kind of a carry, like a farmer's walk or an abdominal exercise in there. So the first workout of the week, usually Monday, these 5x5s are meant so you can play with the heavier bells. So we can work on the main lifts and strengthen the main lifts and work on your base strength. So today's probably the day you get to work with the heavier bells. If you don't have access to them, I'll show you how to do it if you have multiple bells and if you only have access to one bell, okay? So, but just understanding this format and how we're trying to get through this is gonna really help you in these 5x5 strength programs. Let's say you don't have enough time. You have to be able to still work these. Now I write them for 5 rounds, but if you're short on time or your conditioning needs work, then by all means, start with something like 3 rounds, just getting through this just a few times and build up to 5 rounds. And 5 is actually pretty stout work. You know, it's gonna take you 30 minutes to probably get through this. So if you don't have that much time right off the bat, chop the amount of rounds down to maybe 3. I'd like to get at least 3 out of you. 5 is a little more tiring, but 5x5 means 5 exercises, 5 rounds. So take a look at my setup here. Typically, I would love to have access to maybe 3 bells, a light kettlebell, a medium, and something heavy. That works best for these 5x5s. If I've got something light for maybe like the Turkish get-ups, or usually maybe a lighter lift, and the heavier ones, you can usually do swings and rows and carries and squats. The medium bells more for pressing and snatching. But if you got a setup like this, a light, a medium, and a heavy, all the better, that's ideal. If you only got 1 bell, then we're going to be adjusting these numbers. If it's on the lighter side, then it's not going to be that strong of a bell for your swings and your squats. Well, then we'll just do a few more. And if all you have are heavy bells, that you can only do it a few times, you probably want to invest, first of all, in something lighter. But we can obviously chop these things down and do a few reps less. Okay, but the ideal setup has 3 kettlebells, a light, a medium, and a heavy. And we're going to be chopping these exercises down one at a time. Some of these are going to be more geared for lighter bells, and some of them you'll be able to use the heavier bells. Now here's the game. There's going to be 5 rounds of work. We're going to go through the circuit 5 times. So not every round has to be the heaviest thing that you've got. You can obviously start maybe round 1 with your lighter couple bells, and then once you're ready and once you're ramped up and you feel up for it, then you start touching that heavier bell little by little by little. Okay, not every round has to be devastatingly heavy. You better have really good cardio for that, and you better have maybe a little more time because your rest periods are going to be a little bit longer. But I recommend 20 seconds rest in between each lift, maybe as much as 30, never more than 45. And when I get to the last exercise, I rest about a minute. Okay, that'll keep you on pace to get through these workouts in about 30 minutes, 35 at the most, never more than 40. Okay, so main lifts are most common: the cleans, the presses, the snatches, the squats, the get-ups, the rows. When we do a 5x5, I like to focus on the main kettlebell lifts, the strengtheners. You're more than likely going to have some kind of a press in there, some kind of a squat in there, some kind of a swing or a carry. Rows are super common, and either some kind of a clean or a snatch, dead or regular. So get used to the main lifts and the ones you can use the heaviest bells with, because that's what you're going to be working with in the 5x5s. And throughout those 5 rounds, you can flirt back and forth between the heavy ones and the light ones. Like I said, not every round has to be the heaviest thing that you got. So if you do choose, like I said, if you do choose to do all 5 heavy, cardio is going to be stronger. You'll get stronger. It's just going to take more time, and it's a little more tiring. Taking notes at the very end. If you're a note taker like I am, I try to make just little jots of the weight that I use throughout the 5x5. If I happen to end up touching a bell that I don't normally touch, and I think I got the technique pretty good, I'll jot that down. I want to know what the heaviest bell is that I touched that day, and how long the whole workout took. Total time is actually very important. I try to keep these 5x5s at 30, 35 at most, no more than 40. More than 40 and your rest periods are getting really long, and you might have gone too heavy on some of these things, or you just too many rounds. Like, go a little bit harder and maybe only do 4 rounds or only do 3 rounds, and then we'll build up. But as you can see, in this particular situation, I got up to the orange bell, the 28 kilo bell on some of them. I noted that I only did that really on the last round though. So maybe the next time I do this workout, maybe I'll try to do it in two of the 5 rounds. And then the next time I do this workout, I'll try to do it in three of the 5 rounds. I don't expect to go from just touching it one workout to knocking out all 5 rounds on the next one. That's a huge jump. So just adding a little more volume with each week is a good idea. You're probably not going to make huge jumps when you get up to the 24s and the 28s and 32s. It's going to take you some time. But jot that down, how many rounds you did that heavier bell with, so you don't mistake it the next time you come around to this workout. And I also like to note about how long each round took. So I'm a constant clock watcher in these workouts. I want to know my rest periods I'm looking at. I want to know about how long each set takes so I can manipulate my rest and my energy. A lot of things go on in my head during these workouts. So when I finish a round and I finish that last exercise, I look up at the clock and it says 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5:30. I make a mental note of that, and I usually try to take 1 minute break before I come back to the next round. Unless I'm going really heavy, then maybe it's 2. But the general format is 1 minute break at the end of that last exercise. If you need a little more, then you're probably going heavier, and feel free to remember and jot that down, and we'll work that in next time. But 1 minute break at the end of the round, 20 seconds rest at the end of each lift. That'll keep you on pace to land somewhere in that 30 to 40 minute range.